Alright lads, so today we are over on BBS Simulator because in less than 12 hours time we are going to get to the end of month banner announcement for the month of October. And as always, we're here to speculate, theorize, and also discuss who could be in this banner, what is the banner going to be, and of course, as always, you lads can join in the fun too. Let me know your prediction in the comments below, and we can come back to this video around 12 or so hours time and see if we got any of the characters right. With that said though, jumping right into it, similar to last month, to be fair, in fact, to a certain extent, last month's prediction video is very relevant this time around, because this end of the month, in my opinion, is going to be either a 1000-year Blood War banner, or it's going to be a seasonal banner. But why exactly is that? Well, obviously right now, we haven't had a seasonal banner since June end of month. It's been quite some time. And since end of month September with Byakuya, Renji, and Rukia, and then also at the same time mid-month October was Masculine and also Candice, two back-to-back 1000-year Blood War banners, right? Obviously, it makes sense. The anime just came back. It's the best time to do a 1000-year Blood War banner like that for end of month and also mid-month. But because of this, we haven't had a seasonal banner. We haven't had a Halloween banner. And personally, I would like a cooldown. I would like a Halloween banner. Because back-to-back 1000-year Blood War is kind of a lot, especially because of the fact that they just reran the Summer Splash summons and I believe also the Ichigo, Yuha, and also Orihime banner. We've had a lot of big banners to summon on over the last month, and I would kind of like to see a cooldown. But at the same time, I would just like to see some original costume designs, Halloween characters in this case, because obviously we've missed the two opportunities to get a Halloween banner. Usually it does happen around the mid-month of October. In fact, if we actually scroll down, we haven't had a Halloween banner when appropriate at the end of October since 2019. Can you believe that, right? The last time we had that was back in 2019 with Byakuya, Rangiku, and also Kaien. And unfortunately, every single year since then, Halloween's been kind of hit or miss whether we do get it or not. You know, for example, in 2021, we had a Halloween banner in March of all things, which is kind of weird. And then we also had it in September, a month earlier. Last year, September end of month was Halloween. It was a Nini and Noel. And the thought process might have been that maybe end of month October was going to be, you know, Esnot, for example, which is almost true. Esnot came out 2 weeks later, but I can't believe we actually had a seasonal banner at the end of October and they chose to give us Parasol characters. At the very least, though, that year we did get a Halloween banner. But this year, thus far, we haven't had a Halloween banner, and we've just had back-to-back 1000-year Blood War banners. So personally, for me, I would like to see Halloween. And with that prediction, what would I like to see? Well, similar to last month, my main prediction, I'm not even going to list off a bunch of names, but the one character I want to see remade is Halloween Yoruichi. Yoruichi, at this point in time, has not had a character in almost 2 years' time, which is absolutely crazy for a character like Yoruichi, where Caleb liked to shove it into seasonal banners whenever they get the opportunity to do so. And if this end of month isn't going to be seasonal, our next seasonal banner is going to be Christmas for mid-month December, and they're not going to do another Christmas Yoruichi because that was our last Yoruichi, again, almost 2 years ago. The Halloween Yoruichi design in particular is one of my favorite designs in this game, especially for a character like Yoruichi, so I would just love for this character to be remade. Especially since, you know, last year, for example, we did get the Halloween summons with Tosha and Momo, remakes of old seasonal characters. If they do go down the remaking seasonal characters, what I would love, and I'm surprised they don't do this as often, but this banner right here is a perfect example where they remade Momo. She was a remake of an old seasonal design, but at the same time gave us 2 new characters alongside it. So if we ever do, and this also goes for Christmas, ever get remakes of seasonal characters, I would love for them to combine that with new characters too. So you get the best of both worlds, right? You get an old seasonal character remake, maybe even 2, and then you also get a new design, something new, something fresh, as to have the exact same situation that we had here, where it was just 2 characters rehashed. And I can't believe both of those banners, by the way, were Momo. Like, someone at K-Lab has a thing for Momo. The thing is, though, if it is going to be a Halloween banner, remember, and I really do believe we are going to get it this end of month, the Takeover status summon. We thought we were going to get that last month because very rarely do we get new skills, status elements, etc. data mines in advance and not have that be for the upcoming end of month banner. It does happen, and this Takeover status summon is an example. It was data mined this time last month, but I don't see us going any longer than this end of month. And I feel like whatever this new character is going to be is going to have this status summon. And if it is hypothetically going to be a seasonal banner, a Halloween banner, well, in that case, the idea of a Halloween character taking over someone's mind would make sense. I'm not sure what they will be, but it could easily be for a Halloween banner. At the same time, though, let's talk about the alternative here, and it being a potential 1000-year Blood War banner. And just like last month, right, if we are going to get a canon 1000-year Blood War character, there's only one character that would make sense to have this status summon, and that, of course, is Giselle. Well, I mean, Pepe would make sense too, but I don't see Pepe introducing a new status summon and also be an end of month banner. And you know what? Releasing a Giselle for Halloween would be appropriate, and I believe that was actually my guess this time last year. In fact, this time last year, if you remember, I was saying end of October was going to be 1000-year Blood War with Esnot, and it basically happened. The character released 2 weeks later. No one expected Esnot to be a mid-month. But if Caleb don't want to give us a Halloween seasonal banner, and they are going to give us canon 1000-year Blood War units, it would be appropriately timed if they give us a character that is in season of Halloween, like Giselle with Giselle's zombie abilities, and maybe even Esnot with his fear abilities, what they should have done this time last year. So yeah, other than that, I don't really have much to go off, but my main prediction is going to be either a Halloween or 1000-year Blood War. If it's going to be Halloween, my guess is or most of hope is a Yoruichi, but also some type of Halloween card that would make sense to have this takeover status summon. Maybe someone like Frankenstein, or I don't know, a mind control monster. If it's 1000-year Blood War, my guess is Giselle. If we are going to get a Giselle, maybe it would make sense to release Zombie Bambietta and Osamari alongside her, maybe even throw an Esnot for the timing of this banner being for Halloween. And I guess I might as well mention it just in case it does happen. Remember, we still have the costume voting banner to happen this year. One would hope it happens this year, and this is a banner that we voted for the characters and also the outfits, and we have no idea who the winners are going to be, but we are still waiting for that. The poll itself ended in January. It's been over 9 months at this point, so that would have to come out sometime soon. Maybe this end of month, maybe November end of month. I wouldn't like it to be a mid-month banner, and it's obviously not going to be end of year. That is going to be for 1000-year Blood War, so realistically this costume banner can only be this end of month or next end of month. Next up though, let's talk about what the characters might potentially be. Now, fun fact, I'm recording this video a week in advance, so I'm not able to read the limit breaker news that we usually get, giving us an insight on what the character might be, but I don't think I need to do that given the fact that we did get Nightmare Guild Quest data mined for the upcoming next week. In this case, and we knew this months ago, we're going to be getting a ranged Sorry per killer, which is finally about time, right? Because look at the state of ranged Sorry per characters. When it comes to Guild Quest content in particular, the 2 main go-tos that people use is Ichigo and also Noelle, characters that still have Frenzy +1 and no increased status summon chance. We did of course receive a character early this year, which is good. We needed normal attack damage characters like Aaroniero, but we are lacking a really good SP unit. And I assume the breaking news that did get posted this morning would be for a ranged Sorry per killer. So my first character prediction is that we are going to get a ranged Sorry per killer. They're not going to be Guild Quest focused. They're more so going to be like Byakuya, for example, a limit breaker unit that's also, of course, as expected, good in Guild Quests. More specifically, though, they are going to be a technique ranged Sorry per killer, which is kind of funny considering the fact that we did get, you know, an already technique Sorry per killer. But since we are getting a Nightmare Guild Quest, that of course is going to be to promote the new unit, but also hopefully finally give us a new ranged Sorry per killer, because I think a lot of us do want that. There is, I guess, a very small chance this upcoming Nightmare Guild Quest is to promote Orihime's return, but I very much doubt it. If they're going to give us a Nightmare Sorry per Guild Quest, they best be giving us a new lead alongside that. And whatever this character is going to be, by the way, this technique ranged Sorry per killer, they're likely to be the one that has the Takeover status summon. Because the Takeover status summon in particular, we don't really know how useful that's going to be, right? It's going to be a fun gimmick, being able to turn enemies into allies, but I don't really see that being that useful, maybe only in Limit Breaker quests, because in Limit Breaker quests, right, they're the quests where the enemies have a lot of HP and you aren't going to be killing them in one strong attack. Because what good is turning someone into an ally if you just basically kill them in one attack? In Limit Breaker though, on the poised enemies, that's where maybe turning an enemy into an ally is going to be useful, because they then can do damage. So I assume the Limit Breaker character of this month is going to be the one to introduce the new Takeover status summon. For our second character, it potentially seems like we are going to get a new power, a Sparta Killer. More specifically, a ranged one, because again, in this upcoming Guild Quest, Nightmare Guild Quest, we do have Ranger Sparta, and the final boss is going to be a power character. Now, in this case, currently existing, we do have Masaki, so again, there is a potential chance this Nightmare GQ isn't for a new character, and instead it is for Masaki's rerun. Because it is kind of funny, right? The rules that we are getting for this upcoming GQ, more so the final boss, it does fit a requirement of a character that already does exist in game. So this could potentially be for Masaki's rerun. At the same time, though, it could just be for a new Espada killer. In this case, I would assume if we are getting an Espada killer, it's going to be a no attack damage character, which likely, unfortunately, means Flurry +2 only in guild quests. Because I feel like Misaki is a good enough lead for this respective guild quest. I mean, I know I personally don't like using her. Her strong attack hit I don't personally like. And honestly, I would welcome a new character. But I don't think we maybe need a new lead. I mean, Okuro is also pretty decent in the GQ if you have dupes of him. I mean, even this Okuro, the Cacao Society one, makes for a good lead, even though he is a no attack damage unit. So I feel like we are kind of fine in SP leads, but I wouldn't dislike a new lead, especially because it means another SP unit in this banner. When it comes to no attack damage units, I mean, they don't have any Flurry 2 characters. So if they were to get a Nad unit, it would be maybe a welcome addition, especially if they maybe have a debuff, barrier, or boost. Any utility effects are going to be great here, because right now the main go-to leads for normal attack damage units, free leads more so, is Ogura, Abirama, and also Yukio. The great thing about Yukio and Abirama is that they are premium characters, so you likely have them duplicated 5 out of 5. I know I do for Abirama. But I wouldn't mind replacing someone like Yu-Gi-Oh! Also, at the same time, I guess while we are on this topic, right, why normal attack damage units for GQ don't get the attack 80% attack boost, which I would love to return for a really good, playable, fun Nad unit. Hopefully, maybe, this end of month. I'm going to hope for that every end of month. But the reason we don't get it is because people don't use this character in GQ. His attack proc is too unreliable, especially in a meta right now where the leads have a very high chance to inflict XP boost and therefore stat augments. You're much better off using characters like Abirama and also Yukio, who have a more consistent high damage output, as opposed to Okuro that only has like really high damage output when he gets lucky enough, which most of the time he doesn't, to inflict the stat augment. So as always, never say no to it. Would love a really good normal attack damage unit not designed for guild quest, but likely this upcoming end of month banner is also going to feature a ranger Sparta killer, more so a normal attack damage unit. For our third character, again, I've been saying this, I'm going to keep saying it every end of month. I'm surprised it's been this long. How have we not received a new Link's of Farmer? It's kind of ridiculous, right? Our last banner to have any type of farmer was in end of month June, before the anniversary. That was like 4 months ago. We've not had a single farming unit. They just recently did the update where you can farm all 3 items, so I would love to see a new dedicated farmer, more so for the power attribute, by the way, which I guess doesn't seem likely at this point if we're going to get a power normal attack damage unit. But even so, at this point, I just take any new farmer, and I'm coming from someone that doesn't actually need farmers. I've maxed out my entire box, and in all honesty, I'm kind of fine with what we have right now in the all respective attributes, which is maybe why Caleb aren't giving us new farmers. But even so, for newer players, for those that are still farming their characters, I think many people would welcome a new farmer, especially again in the power attribute, right? Because if we actually specify here, you know, power as of right now does not have access to a single character that can give them +10 super links or potions by playing with them. Of course, you do have access to Mashiro, who gives that as a soul trait, but she herself does not get +10 when you use her. Every other attribute has a +10 unit when using them, besides power. So I would love to see a power Linkstro character, super Linkstro farmer. Seems unlikely since again we're likely to get a power normal attack damage unit with a Sparta killer, but even so, I would just welcome a farmer either way. So quick recap for the video then. I'm expecting this banner is 50-50 Halloween or 1000 Year Blood War. In this case, I'm kind of conflicted on which one I would want more so, because if it is 1000 Year Blood War, that likely means Giselle, and I would love for Giselle to be a really good unit. Maybe the ranged super killer, right? But at the same time, I wouldn't mind a cooldown. I wouldn't mind a cool Halloween banner with some original designs, maybe a remake of Yoruichi. Wherever it is going to be, I'm expecting one of the characters to have the Takeover stat summon, and they're likely to be the ranged Super Killer for Limit Breaker and also Guild Quest. Overall though, more so a really good SP unit. For our second character, chances are we are going to get a power no attack damage unit with Flurry +2 only in Guild Quest, unfortunately. But they're likely to be an Espada Killer, just based on the upcoming Nightmare Espada GQ lineup that we have going for us. Although it could be a potential rerun for Misaki, and that would therefore mean this second character could just be another overall solid SP unit. And in the third character, I'm just hoping for a farmer. That's basically about it. Just a farming character or another good unit. And if the banner character selection is good, if the characters themselves are also good, it might be a summon. Who actually knows? Either way, let me know your prediction in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.